Hey, Dr. Sean Price here, clinical coordinator at Cairo Spa, and I wanted to shoot a series of videos explaining the thyroid metabolic pathway. I get a lot of patients that come in and they ask me, why am I feeling so poorly when everybody says my lab tests are normal? So my goal is to explain that to you. So first thing we have to understand is we have to understand what labs are being run typically and why those could be considered normal. Now the first thing to consider is that when you're looking at lab values, there are a wide range of what's considered normal. So for thyroid stimulating hormone, which is right here, in most labs it's somewhere between 0.45, 0.5 up to 4.5 to 5.0. So there's a wide range of what's normal. In functional medicine, or what I like to call functional nutrition, we look for optimal, we look for ideal. And in TSH, we want to see 1.8 to 3.0. So what that means to you, without getting into too much detail, is if I look at the same labs that you've taken to your medical doctor or other doctors and they've said everything looked great, I may look at those same labs and see dysfunctions in the adrenal glands, in the liver, in the gut, in the thyroid function, because we look for optimal, we don't look for quote unquote normal. And we look at that at all lab values, not just TSH. So that's the first thing to consider. Now the second thing is, when you go and you get most thyroid testing done, there's only a few tools that the doctors have at their disposal. So what they look for is tools, or they look for markers that they can affect with those tools. So in the thyroid pathway, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain that actually, it's kind of the regulatory center. It regulates sleep-wake cycle, it regulates body temperature, it regulates appetite, regulates sexual desire, regulates a lot of different processes in the body, including the endocrine system. So if you have an increased demand for metabolic activity, whether it's because something's happened and your body needs to increase metabolism, or because your body is functioning low, and so the hypothalamus picks up on, hey, I need to rev up the metabolism. What the hypothalamus does is it releases what's called thyrotrophin releasing hormone to the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland releases TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. So this is what most doctors look at when they're running a thyroid test. So the pituitary gland will increase thyroid stimulating hormone. When that thyroid stimulating hormone is released, that tells the thyroid gland to release its hormones, which is T4 and T3. Now here's the key. 7% of what the thyroid makes, or approximately 7%, is active T3. So this goes on and is used by the cells to produce metabolic activity. 93% is inactive, that's our T4. 93% is inactive. Once these hormones are released from the thyroid gland, that sends a signal back to the hypothalamus and says, hey, there's enough here, so then your TSH will go to normal because there's enough hormone there. But this has nothing to do with the final end product of metabolism. This pathway here is only producing about 7% of what the body needs for metabolic activity. So in the future videos, we're going to go into detail about the other aspects of that process. But keep in mind, if your T4 level goes to normal, whether it's because the thyroid produces it, or if it's because you're on medication, if you're on Synthroid or levothyroxine or one of these thyroid medications, those are synthetic T4. So as soon as that T4 level goes up, again, whether it's natural or with medication, that sends a signal back to the hypothalamus, so then the hypothalamus reduces TSH, and this pathway now is showing as functioning normal. Even though that's only 7% of metabolism, the pathway is showing as functioning normal. So when you go back to the doctor, if you're on medication, or if you're just feeling poorly and you're going and getting your labs run, and this pathway is showing as normal, then the doctor's going to say, hey, there's something else going on. You might need to look at antidepressants, you might need to look at some other effect here. But this has nothing to do with the end product of metabolism, or it has very little to do with the end product of metabolism. So we're going to get into that and then look in some more detail, actually quite extensive detail, over the next few videos. All right, so I'll see you on the next video.